they can't keep guns in stock. We'll be right back here in just a moment. Well, this is Dr. Stan, and Bob was simply just saying that the word is out, and we hear this from several sources, but he confirmed what we've heard, is that all across America people are frantically buying guns. Why? Because they believe that the Obama regime wants to establish a fascist dictatorship. They do not trust the government. They're concerned that we may be moving towards chaos, as both Zygmunt Brzezinski and Mr. Kissinger, Henry Kissinger, have talked about the coming chaos throughout the world. And if chaos comes to America, who's going to defend you? There's not going to be anybody answering 911 calls. They'll be too busy fighting the fires and putting down the armed militant groups that are out there. So you're going to have to be able to prepare to look after yourself, and you better start thinking about these things, the potential for chaos coming to America. Well, before we go on, first of all, our telephone number is 1-888-24-LIBERTY, 1-888-24-LIBERTY, or 464-8295. But before we go on, Bob, I want you to tell our listeners how they can get a copy of the International Forecaster and start reading it, as I do twice a week. In fact, I always look forward to reading what you have to say. But you pick up the story and tell people how they can subscribe.
Well, the Forecaster is about business, finance, economic, social, and political issues all over the world. We publish via the Internet on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Usually runs around 35 pages each time. And we have a hard copy that goes out twice a month for those who are not on the Internet. You can get a free introductory copy by going to our site. That address is theinternationalforecaster.com. The International, Forecaster.com. You can email us at bob@intforecaster.com, bob@intforecaster.com, or you can call toll-free 800-375-4188. That's 800-375-4188, and we'll send you a copy.
All right, fine. Well, our telephone number is 1-888-24-LIBERTY, 1-888-24-LIBERTY, or 464-8295 if you've got a question for Bob Chapman. And ladies and gentlemen, we're moving into very dangerous times here in the United States. Certainly, the media is controlled. They're solidly behind Barack Obama. I went down to the post office today to mail in our income tax forms, and there in the post office they have memorial envelopes to Barack Obama. I've never seen anything quite like it before. I mean, certainly, why would the post office be sending out envelopes with pictures of Barack Obama on them? Well, he is being created. He is to be the great world leader. How do we know that there's a force behind him? Why, of course, we can read Benjamin Creme, who's an occultist. We can read Corrine McLaughlin and Gordon Davidson, their articles in the occult literature telling you that Obama is the one. Why do you think it was that the stock market collapsed just a few weeks before the November election last year, which, of course, propelled Barack Obama into the White House? Do you think that was just a coincidence? Do you think it was just a coincidence that his picture appeared on the cover page of Time magazine 6 times last year and 3 or 4 times on Newsweek? How many times did you see a picture of Ron Paul or Romney or the others on the cover of the establishment publications? Because you have to understand that Time and Newsweek and U.S. News and World Report are all controlled by people who are part of the cabal, but they're not going to tell you that. Rush Limbaugh's not going to tell you that. In fact, he will attack you viciously if you ever talk about the Trilateral Commission and the fact that this organization created by Rush Limbaugh's good friend David Rockefeller was intent upon, and actually has, taken over the political government of the United States. And since 1976, up until the present administration, excluding the present administration, every president of the United States since 1976 and or vice president of the United States has been a member of the Trilateral Commission. Do any of you out there think that happened just by accident? And if it is true, why haven't we heard about it? If you want to verify it, go to AugustReview.org. That's AugustReview.org, and you can get the information there from our good friend Pat Woods, or certainly you can go read my November, December, January, and February newsletters. November, December 1980, January, February, I should say November and December 2008, and then of course the January and February 2009 newsletters there. Or simply go to the Trilateral Commission website and get their information. Or certainly Bill Clinton is no longer listed in the members of the Trilateral Commission, but Dick Cheney is, and of course both Jimmy Carter and his vice president were members. George Herbert Walker Bush was a member of the Trilateral Commission. Bill Clinton was a member of the Trilateral Commission, as was his vice president, and then into the Bush administration. Dick Cheney was a member of the Trilateral Commission. How could they have that many people in key positions of government? Because they control our State Department. They have about 5 people in our State Department today. 5 of the key positions, and then of course Hillary's husband was a member of the Trilateral Commission. They always control the key positions in the administration. And you're never going to hear about David Rockefeller's Trilateral Commission, whose purpose was to seize control of the political government of the United States so they could seize financial and commercial control of the world. And if you doubt that, get Barry Goldwater's book, With No Apologies. Read page 280. He will tell you exactly what I told you. That's With No Apologies. Barry Goldwater, page 280. Read it, or we'll censor the page. You want to read it, you must understand. Nothing happens by accident. Our telephone number, 1-888-24-LIBERTY, 464-8295 here in the Central Coast of California. If you have a question for Bob Chapman, but right now we have Tony calling from Tennessee. Hi, Tony. How you doing? Tony, are you there? Tony from Tennessee, are you there?
Who?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I thought we were talking to Dr. Stan.
You are talking to Dr. Stan. Go right ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I only have about, a couple of things I want to ask. Number one, it's not the American people's fault what's going on today, because we were lied to through the whole thing, and we can't vote anymore because of the machines. And the third thing is, if you're just a poor old feller in Tennessee and you've got a little bit of money, what do you do with it?
Well, you have to ask that to Bob. He's a lot smarter than that than I am. Bob, how would you respond to Tony?
Well, I think the only place that is left that you can put money is in gold and silver related assets such as coins and shares. I see no other alternatives. CDs are a problem because you have a limit on insurance, and goodness knows when you might get paid. Insurance policies that have cash values are in the stock market. You have the same situation with annuities, pensions, as we discussed earlier, in the stock market and other things. And so I don't know where else to tell people to go to. The only thing that I can see that I think is safe is the gold and silver area, and so that's what I tell people.
All right, fine. Tony, does that answer your question?
Well, you're talking about the actual hands-on gold. You're not talking about certificates or anything like that, are you?
No. I'm talking about gold and silver coins, and for people who have a lot of money who want to be more aggressive in the purchase of gold and silver in that area, would perhaps want to go to shares. They're a good alternative as well. It all depends. People who have moderate to small amounts of money, generally speaking, should be in coins, although people with moderate amounts of money split it up as well.
Okay, Tony, does that answer your question?
Do you think that gold gold from overseas is safe?
Well, the United States government is bringing tremendous pressure to bear on all of what they call offshore locations that have banking laws which are different than what they are in the United States and in Europe. And they're bludgeoning these countries into agreeing to open their bank accounts that belong to Europeans or Americans to those governments so that they can see whether these people have paid taxes on their money, and secondly, that they can track what these people are doing with their money. And so that is underway, and so even Swiss banks are now telling clients, you've got to move your accounts out of here. That's going on with UBS as well as Credit Suisse, which began today.